Namaste everyone, welcome back to Lila Academy. Myself Dr. Vishnunath Chetty. There is a quote, Alpascha kalo bhavascha vignaha yatsarabhutam tadupasitavyam. Means we have got very less time, okay, and there are so many hurdles, and what is essence has to be absorbed. So here in this today's session, we will discuss such essence. That means here I will be discussing some of the important topics which are frequently repeated in previous year question papers. Keeping in mind about the time constraints or the very less time we have, how to success is a question mark. How to succeed in the AIPGT is a question mark. So I will be giving here some of the important topics which are frequently repeated in previous year question papers. Because as we know, the questions will not be repeated, but the topics from which the questions are chosen will be repeated. So with that perspective, we will move on to get to know about some of the topics which are frequently repeated in previous year question papers and which makes significance for the preparation of AIPGT. Okay, first one is we have from Sharangdhara Samhita Deepana Pachanati Adhyaya, wherein the text is going to give us the understanding regarding the different karmas. For example, Deepana, Pachana, Anulomana, Bhedana, like that different karmas has been explained, and this is a most frequently repeated topic. Okay, they are going to frame the questions from this topic, like simply they will ask the definitions of the karma or they will ask the examples. For examples, Haritiki. Okay, so according to Sharangdhara, Haritiki karma is, like this they will ask the question and they will frame the four options. Okay, so you have to work out everything from this chapter, especially from the Bhavaprakasha Nigantu, because there are some of the differences between Sharangdhara and Bhavaprakasha, and such differences can be asked in the exams. So this is one among the very frequently asked topics. Next is we have Vedana Adhyaya of the Kashyapa Samhita. So mark this as very important. First one is Vedana Adhyaya and second one is Balagrahas. Okay, even though the Ashtanga Hridaya and Sushruta Samhita has explained the Balagraha, they are going to focus mainly on the Balagrahas understanding from the Kashyapa Samhita, and also unique chapter from the Kashyapa Vedana Adhyaya. So this is also very important chapter. They will ask the questions from this. Okay, for example, they will pick the Vedana and they will ask the disease. For example, Anaha, okay, Anadha Netraha, okay, something like that. They will ask, okay, or like Harita Purushaha, Harita Varnaha Purushaha Atisaryate. Okay, like this, we have got different understandings from there, Vedana Adhyaya, and you have to work out this from A to Z. And next is Bhagna Nidana and Chikitsa. Even though this is not very familiar, but they will ask the questions from these topics too. Okay, the specific nidanas and the specific chikitsa explained for the Bhagna. And regarding the Kushtha, okay, from the Charaka Nidana, Charaka Chikitsa, Sushruta Nidana and Sushruta Chikitsa. So all these things are very important. They are going to ask the Lakshanas, they are going to ask the Nidanas, they are going to ask the Chikitsas, and especially from the Sushruta Samhita we have the Dhatugata Kushtha Avasthas, Lakshanas and the Chikitsa. Okay, that is very very important. And wherever we have the Dhatugata Avasthas, okay, for example, Avarna Dhatugata Avastha is there, okay, Jvara Dhatugata Avastha is there, Vata Vyadhi Dhatugata Avastha is there, Gata Vata is there, Avarna Vata is there, okay, and we have Jvara also, okay, like this, wherever there is the Dhatugata Avastha, all those contexts are very very important. And next is Prameha and Prameha Pidaka, especially the understanding of this Prameha from the Charaka Nidana and Chikitsa, okay, and also from the Charaka Sutrasthana, okay, the understanding of this Prameha Pidakas from the Charaka Sutrasthana, Kiyanta Shirasiya, and also the understanding of Prameha, Madhumeha, and the Prameha Pidaka, Chikitsa from Sushruta, because Sushruta has given or he has dedicated separate chapters for the understanding of this Prameha and Prameha Pidaka Chikitsa, okay, and the stage wise treatment, Avastha based treatment is mentioned by Sushruta, okay, that will be focused by the examiner in the exams, okay, you have to work out those things also. And next is Yavago understanding, okay, the Yavago understanding from Charaka Sutra, second chapter, Apamarga Tanduli Adhyaya. Okay, Ashtavimshati Yavaguhu, 28 Yavagu Kalpanas has been explained there. So all those things you have to by heart. So this is a very basic thing. Okay, Yavagu understanding from the Sushruta Sutra, Charaka Sutra, second chapter is a very basic thing. Everyone is going to work out on this one. Okay, it should be on the tip of the tongue. Okay, Yavagu should be on the tip of the tongue, and also the understanding of this proportions. Okay, proportions explained from the Sarangadhara Samhita, Manda, Peya, Vilepi, Yavagu, Annakalpana. So all these preparations, proportions. What is the proportion of the water and the rice, or like what is the proportion of the dravya and the jala? Okay, and how much what it's been reduced. So all those things they can ask in the exams. Yantra and Shastras from the Sushruta. So this also repeated. And Yonivapat Chikitsa. So the importance of Charaka Samhita is such that at the end of the every sthana, the chapter, the last chapter of each of the sthana is going to carry a very important informations or some of the important understandings of the Samhitas or of the Ayurveda. In the same way, we have the Yonivapat Chikitsa, which is carrying very important understandings regarding the Chikitsa aspects and also the pharmacology. Okay, so all those things can be asked in the exams. Okay, and also the regarding the understanding of Yonivapas. Okay, the 20 Yonivapas of the Sushruta Samhita along with the Charaka Samhita. Okay, so this is very basic understanding. Okay, so we will discuss what exactly this Yonivapas, how they can be asked in the exams, how the questions can be framed from Yonivapat Chikitsa in the further sessions. But it's very mandatory that you work out on the Yonivapats and also the other understandings or the other contexts which are explained in the 30th chapter of the Chikitsasana from the Charaka Samhita. Rasashastra authors and everything about the Parada. Okay, so they're going to ask the questions on the authors of the textbooks of the Rasashastra and also the understanding of the Parada. A to Z you have to work out from the Parada. Okay, the Parada very important metallic preparations we have in Ayurveda. Okay, Parada is explained as the Rasa. Okay, Rasa. Okay, there is a quote called Siddhe Rase Karishami Nirdaridram Idam Jagat. Okay, so by using this Parada, I shall make the world prosperous. Okay, so that is the importance of the Parada. And the commentators from the Charaka and Sushruta, so all the commentaries and the commentators, they will ask these very basic things in exams. Also the Ashtanga Hridaya, Ashtanga Sangraha, Sharangadhara Samhita. Okay, so these things, Bhavaprakasha, so these things they will ask in the exams. Madhava Nidana, Charaka, Sushruta. So these are very basic things. You have to work out very early in the period only. Okay, so these are like very basic things. Okay, and next is Garbha and Garbhini Vijnana, A to Z from Charaka and Sushruta. We have the dedicated chapters for this Garbha Vijnana and Garbhini Vijnana from Charaka and Sushruta. Okay, so these things you have to work out everything A to Z from Sushruta and Charaka. Vasanumasika Ruddhi, Garbhini Paricharya, okay, Rajaswalacharya, okay, Rutumati Charya. So all these things, Sutika Paricharya. So these things will be focused in the exams. 100% questions will be there from these things. Okay, Charaka Sharira and the Sushruta Sharira. Okay, so there is no compromise with the questions if they are going to ask from Garbha and Garbhini Vijnana. Garbha and Garbhini Vijnana, there shouldn't be any compromise. Okay, and the Sruta Vimana, again this is also a very basic chapter from Charaka Samhita, Charaka Vimanasana, Sruta Vimana. Okay, so you have to go through this Sruta Vimana from the Samhita itself. You have to study from there and you have to work out everything. Sushruta Viddhalakshana, Sruta Viddhalakshana from the Sushruta Samhita. Okay, and regarding the Charaka Siddhi 9th chapter, Trimarmiya Siddhi. Again, this is also a very important chapter, giving the understanding regarding the different chapters, the different diseases of the Marma, Trimarmas. Okay, whatever the diseases which are not explained from the Chikitsa. Okay, Trimarmiya Chikitsa, those things, and also the Kiyanta Shirisiya, the understanding of the Trimarmas which is left behind from the Trimarmiya Chikitsa and the Kiyanta Shirisiya is going to be explained here in this Charaka Siddhi 9th chapter, Trimarmiya Siddhi. Okay, so work out on these things. Okay, 13 Mutra Vikaras and make a comparative study from Sushruta. Okay, Shirorogas. Okay, very important understanding from Sushruta. Work out on this Shirorogas also. Okay, make a comparative study from Shiroroga, Charaka to Sushruta, especially the Doshik dominance. Okay, what is the Doshik dominance of the Anantavata, Ardhava Bedaka, Suryavarta according to Charaka, according to Sushruta. So all these things are frequently repeated in exams. Okay, next is Dashaveda Pariksha. So mark these two chapters as very very important. Okay, Charaka Vimana 8th chapter and Sushruta Sutra 35th chapter. Okay, so Atharopakramaniya. So these are the two very important chapters wherein they are going to ask the questions. Okay, so there shouldn't be any compromise with these two chapters. Okay, Roga Bishak Jitiya and Atharopakramaniya. Okay, next, as I have mentioned previously, Dhatugata Avasas, Dhatu Pradoshaja Vikaras and the Chikitsa, Jara, okay, Nidanas and the Chikitsa, Dhatugata Jara, Vata Vyadhi, Dhatugata, Avruta Vata, okay, Avarana and Kushta. Okay, so I have mentioned this previously also. And Tvak Sharira and Kala Sharira from Sushruta Sharira. So this is also very important topics which is repeated so many times. 100% questions will be there from Tvak Sharira. Okay, so how many Tvak layers are there, and what are the different diseases manifested in the different layers, okay, and what is the pramana. Okay, so all these things they will ask in the exams. And also regarding the kala, how many kalas are there, and the similes which are presented in the description of the kala. Okay, all these things they can ask in the exams. Harsha, Ashmari, Bhagantara. So these three chapters from Sushruta and the understanding presented in the Charaka. So Harsha, Ashmari and Bhagantara. So these are important. Dhanvantari Adhikara chapters which are explained under the Dhanvantari Adhikara, Harsha, Ashmari and Bhagantara. Even though Harsha, Nidan, Harsha, Chikitsa we have from Charaka, that's purely related with the Bheshaja. Okay, so that's not related with the Shastra Karma. The understanding of the Shastra Karma is being explained from Sushruta. So such things they are going to ask in the exams. Harsha, Ashmari, Bhagantara from Sushruta especially, and also the relevant understanding from the Charaka. Okay, and the next is Visha Vegas. We have Sthavar and Jangama Visha. So most of the students had these shlokas during the UG only. The understanding of this Sthavara, Visha Vegas and their Chikitsa. Okay, so if you are beheaded, it would be well good. Okay, so if you are not done, you have to do these things. Okay, and regarding the Indriya Sthana, most frequently repeated is understanding of this Varna, Swara, Chaya and Prabha. Okay, you can work out on this one. And the Prakruti and Vikruti, understanding of this Prakruti and Vikruti. Okay, from this understanding is also been frequently repeated in previous question papers. And as I have mentioned previously also, different kalpanas and their ratio. Okay, so what is the dravya, what is the jala, what is the kshira, what is the taila. Okay, taila kalpana, ghrita kalpana. So all those things, okay, they will ask in the exams. And some of the Sanskrit basics they are going to ask in the exams, as we have like Maheshwara Sutras. Okay, so Prayatnas and the Varnotpatti Sthanas and the Sandhi and the Samasa. Okay, so all these things are repeated previously in the exams. Okay, so these are the basics you should know. Okay, Roga Bishak Jitiya Vimana, as I mentioned previously also, Dashavida Pariksha Bhava, Vada Marga. Okay, so in Vada Marga what we have like 2 word, 3 word or 4 word definitions, or very short definitions. Okay, so for example, Vyavasayo Nama Nishchayaha. Okay, so like this, what they will do, typically Samhita based questions, they will ask such things. Okay, so they will make you to complete the shloka. Okay, Vyavasayo Nama dash. Okay, so like this, they'll ask very short definitions from the Samhitas. Okay, so this will be very Samhita based core Samhita questions. Okay, so they can ask the questions like this also. Dashavida Pariksha Bhava, Dashavida Atura Pariksha. Atura Pariksha is also important, and at the same time Dashavida Pariksha Bhava is also very very important, and also as I have mentioned, Vada Margas too. Next is Prasruta Yogiya Basti. So this is Samhita based. Okay, you can just work out on this one also. And then regarding the Sharira, Sandhi, Asti and Snayu. Okay, everything understanding of this Sandhi, Asti and Snayu. Okay, classification, types and numbers. Okay, so don't get confused with the types of Sandhi and numbers of the Sandhi. Okay, so types of Sandhi is very different from the total number of the Sandhis. Okay, total number of the Sandhis is different from the types of the Sandhi. Okay, work out on all these things, classification, types and numbers. Okay, if possible, you have to bahad these types. Okay, the types of the Sandhi, types of the Asti, types of the Snayu, you have to bahad. Okay, and next is the Klaibya and Napumsaka. Understanding regarding this Klaibya and Napumsaka from both Charaka and Sushruta. Okay, they will ask these things: Shukra dosha, Arthava dosha, Sthanya dosha. So all these things are so many times frequently repeated. Okay, Shuddha Shukra Lakshana, Shuddha Arthava Lakshana, Shuddha Shukra dosha, Phalavat Shukra Lakshana. Okay, Arthava dosha, Sthanya dushti. Okay, Shuddha Sthanya Lakshana. Okay, so Dhatri Pariksha. So all these things are frequently repeated in previous year question papers. So you have to work out on these things. And regarding the Sushruta Sutrasthana, okay, Sushruta Sutrasthana, we have the understanding regarding the parasurgical measures, parasurgical treatments. These are also so many times repeated in the exams. The understanding regarding the Jaloka, Agni Karma, Kshara Karma, okay, Rakta Mokshana, so everything. So you have to work out a very separate chapters, very dedicated chapters are there from a Sushruta Sutra, and you have to work out everything from these chapters. Okay, so for these chapters you have to study from Samhitas only. Don't go for the books. You don't go for the compilation books. Okay, don't go for compilation books. You study these chapters from the Samhitas only. Okay, so proper Samhitas, you study the understanding of Jaloka, understanding of Agni Karma, Kshara Karma, and Rakta Mokshana. Okay, then regarding the Kalpasthana. Okay, so regarding the Kalpasthana, Charaka Kalpasthana, what you have to focus is you have to work out on the understanding of all these dravyas from Bhava Prakash Nigantu. For example, Trivrat. Okay, Trivrat we have from Charaka, and you have to go through the Bhava Prakash Nigantu and work out on the what is the understanding of Trivrat from Bhava Prakash Nigantu. Is there any understanding, or is there any similarity between both of these things from Charaka and from the Bhava Prakasha? Okay, like this Madana Phala. Okay, so what is understanding? What is the difference from Charaka to the Bhava Prakasha Nigantu? So like this you have to work out. Okay. And next is synonyms and the formulations. Synonyms of the Kalpa, Madana Phala synonyms. Okay, Dhammargava synonyms. Okay, indications. Okay, specific indications and the specific prayogas. Okay, applications, and the Griheya Kalpas. Okay, so Griheya Kalpas also important. Part used, collection, and processing. So this is also important thing asked in the exam. Okay, and as I have mentioned, Sthanya and Sthanya Dushti, and the Chikitsa for the Sthanya Dushti. Okay, this is also repeatedly asked. And Shalakya Shlokas, for example, in Shalakya they are going to ask the Doshik dominance or the Gata. Okay, the for example Krishna Gata Roga. Okay, Sandhi Gata Roga. Okay, so Shalakya Tantra, basically this is very volatile, so you have to frequently repeat these things. Okay, Shalakya Tantra especially, you have to keep on revising the Shalakya Tantra because it's very volatile. So that's why either you have to buy out these shlokas. Okay, Shalakya Tantra shlokas. For example, especially we have the Vartmagata Rogas. Vartmagata Rogas, what they will do, they will directly pick the shlokas and they will ask in the exams. Okay, so you can create some links to remember, or you can create some mnemonics and you can remember the understanding given in the Shalakya Tantra. Okay, so this is a very important concept from the Uttara Tantra. Okay, Sushruta Uttara. So they will ask the questions from Shalakya Tantra. So that's why you can work out on this Shalakya. So the trick to Shalakya Tantra is, since this is a very volatile subject, you have to keep on repeating the things again and again. And next is we have the Agra Sangraha. So this is also a very basic thing. It comes under must to know for each and every student. Okay, Agra Sangraha is must to know for each and every student. One questions will be there, minimum one question will be there from Agra Sangraha. If you are committing any mistakes in the Agra Sangraha, then it's a suicide. Okay, take my words. If you are committing any mistakes, if they are going to ask the questions on Agra Sangraha in the exams, then it's a suicide for you, because every student is going to bahad this Agra Sangrahas. Okay, throughout the country, every student, whoever is appearing for exams, is going to bahad this Agra Sangrahas. Okay, and they will not make mistakes in Agra Sangraha. Okay, from Charaka and Vagbhata. So work out on this Agra Sangrahas. There is no compromise with the Agra Sangraha. Okay, and then from the Rasa Shastra, Paribhasha Prakarana. Okay, Paribhasha Prakarana is also very important. Okay, frequently repeated Paribhasha Prakarana. Okay, in the further classes we will discuss this Paribhasha Prakarana in detail. And Dosha Dhatumala Vijnaniya. Okay, Dosha Dhatumala Vijnaniya, again the very important aspect from Kriya Sharira, Sthana, Prakruta, Karma, Kshaya and Riddhi, Upadhatu, okay, and Dhatu Mala. Okay, so this is the opinions from the Upadhatu and Dhatu Mala from Charaka, Sharangadhara. Okay, so this also frequently asked in the exams. Okay, so here I have tried to give you some of the very important topics which are frequently repeated in exam. Okay, so students will not be looking for the questions which are repeated. Okay, but instead the trick is that you have to go through the question papers and you have to identify such topics which are frequently asked in the exams. Okay, so I have tried to identify such topics which are frequently repeated in exams, and I have presented before you. Okay, and then your work will be to work out on all these topics whichever I have mentioned in detail, so that it becomes easy for you during the exams to answer the questions. Okay, so we'll end up the today's session. Thank you for patient listening.